Welcome back to the Absolutely Epic Early Week Podcast, Week 13, lucky number 13. Dean here. That's Dean 7904 if you want to get all tactical on me. Usual suspects, as always. Of course, this is not the last podcast you listen to in DFS. It's the first podcast you listen to in DFS. And batting first, it's Grant Neiffer coming to us live from San Diego. I almost said the nickname that it's not really called, but it's San Diego.
Yeah, it is San Diego, and I'm currently here. And guys, this is the last podcast you should listen to throughout the week. You should listen to it after the games start. That's how important it is.
Well, this is what Grant got wrong, and that's what Grant got wrong, and yep, Grant was wrong here too, and Grant got that wrong also. That's how they would listen to it.
Yeah, but replace the word Grant with Dean, and it's 100% factually accurate.
Well, not exactly. Maybe Mangone, because Mangone's here. You might know him better from his stage name, Bone Mangone 69. What's going on, Mangone?
Things are good. Taking a lot of L's on this podcast lately. So listen, I feel numb at this point, trying to power through the pain. We need a winning week, and luckily we have the best week, right? We get Thanksgiving week. We get 2 NFL slates. We get all the food. Thanksgiving food kind of overrated, but
it's the worst.
Food, football.
You guys are so dumb.
Hold on, you're not really going to stand for Thanksgiving food, right? Like you're on team cranberry sauce?
No, I'm on team stuffing, turkey, and mashed potatoes. Things that I eat generally year-round.
Stuffing's pretty good, I will say. I'm team stuffing, but like that's it. Like I could literally sit down at Thanksgiving meal and just only eat stuffing and have a good time. And
when was the last time you had
mashed potatoes and
Grant?
gravy? I don't know, like 3 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. If it was so good, you would be in your regular rotation.
It would be if it was easy to find or easy to make. They only sell once a year. People love pumpkin spice lattes, but you know what? They only
stovetop year round. You can't find stuffing in the grocery. Even Mangone can find stuffing.
Yeah. I don't want to make it myself. I want pre-made stuffing. Whenever I find it at Safeway, I buy stuffing and I buy gravy and I buy mashed potatoes and I put it on some Hawaiian sweet bread, and then I give myself premature diabetes.
That Hawaiian sweet bread is pretty terrible too, by the way. Just spoiler
what?
alert.
Okay, that is a ridiculous take.
It's not good. I've had it before. Fade that for sure. This is not a food podcast, but I want to talk about Thanksgiving
the worst
food
takes ever.
I was going to say, your advice, Grant, for the people that listen to this podcast, later on in the week, we're actually going to touch on. We're going to touch on it very briefly. Of course, we're going to focus on the main slate, what's going down as far as the main slate. 11 games, no more buys. Let's see, Sunday night, the New England-Houston game, that's on the Yahoo slate, which, of course, Yahoo is sponsoring the show. Oh, you know what? I should say this before we say anything. This is very important, guys. We talked about this earlier today in one of our previous shows. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Grant. So Yahoo, the sponsor of the show, you're aware of that, yes?
Oh, I've heard of it, yes.
Yeah. They have a $75,000 prize pool contest on Thursday night, a 3-gamer, okay? It's got built-in $25,000 overlay. Now, what does that mean? That means they collect $50,000 and they give out $75,000. Mangone, you don't need a calculator. That's good stuff, right?
Yeah, man, it's good times. I just pulled it up. I got to make sure to get my entries in there because I'm fired up for the Thanksgiving slate, man. I'm all about it. So, I'm going to be firing in this Yahoo tournament for sure.
By the way, Mangone, he's not playing hurt right now, but he's playing somewhat distracted. He's currently sweating. He might bink a tournament tonight in basketball.
Yeah, there's no sweat needed now, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over. Mr. Dennis Schroeder hit a 3 while you were talking about food, so I'm up a little bit right now. It's looking good.
What? Are you baking right now? Look at you.
Yeah, man, we're not Big T, but things are good over here.
Yeah, Big T took down, $250K or something? But according to Twitter, he had like $250,000 in entry fees, so it was like a push.
That was a legendary thing that went down, by the way. Like, I don't think anyone saw that coming. I think people maybe saw like the, you can only win with 150 thing coming, but no one saw the you entered $250,000 in fees and then you only got back 250. Like, that was just an all-timer.
You think he was getting trolled or this person was for real?
No, the guy actually, I went through and figured things out. He absolutely thought that was the case.
Dean, it wasn't just Guy. There were multiple people. I mean, it just kept coming. Like, it was a classic. It was a legendary thing that went down.
That is amazing. So congratulations to Big T. Whether he netted $250,000 or $1,000, however the math works out, it was a good weekend for him for sure. And again, you can get up to 20 entries. By the way, I just not locked in 20 entries. There's only
I'm about to do that right now. It's getting close to filling.
Yeah, because
really?
I'm for real. You have to get in this. I'm serious. If you guys listen to this in the morning, you can get 20 entries in. It costs you $200. I actually see it moving right now. Like somebody, the entry fees. That is.
Yeah, I'm joining now too. So I'm about to spam my entry.
Well, it just went up 20 higher.
Yeah, I can see it moving right now. So we're moving the needle. Look at that.
Now. There you go. The needle is being moved right now.
Yeah, there's other contests as well for sure. The other $200,000 contest in the weekend, but there's built-in, 50% over. Oh wait, what's the math here? Oh, I guess you should ask the accountant. They're collecting
a negative 50% management fee, so 33.3% over. Like in theory, I just made
we just made money just by clicking buttons.
I just made $60. I'll lose it on Thursday, but for right now, I've made $60, $70.
So Mangone, we were talking about this pre-show. Like, should we talk about the Thursday slate? And let's talk about it because there's not a lot of other places that'll probably talk about it because by the time other podcasts come out on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, yada yada yada, and we're again, like Grant was saying, or mocking at least, but this is the first podcast to listen to, not the last podcast. It's a first look, it's a first peek, and Mangone is super excited to talk about Jeff Driscoll and Mitchell Trubisky. Exciting games for sure to be had on Thanksgiving.
Dean, you have it all wrong. I'm excited because people are going to roster Mitchell Trubisky. I don't have to roster him, but other people are. I mean, this is the beauty of it. Like, listen, I sadly rostered some Jared Goff tonight. I was going to fade him, but I didn't. This is the beauty of it. Like, people are going to play some of these terrible quarterbacks at times because there's no other options. It's not like you can just say, oh, give me Lamar Jackson because he's not on the slate.
We live in the world of a salary cap. I guess you don't want to save money with Trubisky or Driscoll. You're looking at, of course, Grant's boy Josh Allen's in the slate. Buffalo's playing Dallas, and the Saints and the Falcons are playing the night game. And do we know the status? We're recording this on a Monday night, so I think I saw that Julio Jones was missed a practice, and of course he was on and off the field on the game on Sunday. Mangone, what do we know here? Are we assuming he's going to play, or just not sure yet?
Yeah, I'm assuming he gives it the go, but it could be interesting, right? Because it's late swap. We have that, we're late swapping stuff, and it's the last game of the night, right? So you have to see what you're going to do. It's going to be super interesting. We don't really have word on what's going to happen. So Julio's going to be a guy you might have to take a risk on, and it's going to be fun to see, how it all shakes up. But if he's uncertain, man, it could be really interesting for tournament upside.
Well, give me your overview. We're not going to focus on this too much, but if somebody's listening, they want to hear a couple minute synopsis. But what's the most important part of this 3-game slate?
Yeah, I think if you're playing cash games, it's kind of like jamming in the studs, right? You want to be getting on, Kamara, Thomas, all those good guys. And what's the key way to do it? Well, not paying for, these expensive tight ends, right? I think trying to find a cheap tight end that can make things work. I think the guy is Dawson Knox because Dallas has been really, really bad against tight ends throughout this year. I think that's a good route that you can end up going. Grant's boy, Josh Allen, I think is actually a really strong quarterback play. And one guy that's pretty cheap, and he hasn't been that great lately, it's David Montgomery. And I think he's going to be a phenomenal play here against the Lions. We know how bad they are against the run. And Montgomery, he hasn't been the best as of late. Has had some struggles. If you look at his past 3 games, right, anyone who's game log Jason playing, they see 5.1, they see 6, they see 6, and they're worried about it, right? They're like, I don't want to play him, but this is the Lions, and I hope people don't end up doing it because his price is low, salary's low. You can get in a good, technically bell cow running back and pair it up with those Saints guys, and then get some Atlanta action, and your team's working out to look pretty good. Yeah,
you mentioned tight end as far as Knox. He might be the.
Do I get to talk about Josh Allen?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, this is how we have a conversation, Grant. Well, we'll throw it to you. Don't worry. You could have chimed in at any point. There was kind of a pause there, but you could have pounced. It was all there. Yours for the taking. But, you yielded, which I appreciate. That's fine. You don't have to. Yeah, Dawson might be the one who knocks as far as making things work for you because we don't know the deal with Hooper, but Hooper probably doesn't play. I assume he doesn't play. There's no reason to force him out there. And, Jaden Graham, I guess Jared Cook might be the best tight end on the slate. TJ Hockenson, of course, didn't play last game either. You got the outlaw Jesse James. You kind of sort of have to save money at tight end. But, Grant, talk about your boy, Josh Allen, or anything you feel like talking about.
So I've been digging into things, and there's not been good weather in Buffalo. Most of the games he's played. Home stats this year, 18 fantasy points per game. Away stats, 24. He's actually been able to air the ball out, averages about 70 yards further per game or more per game on the road here, and now he gets to play in a dome. Josh Allen will be the top scoring player on this slate.
What?
I love it. You know who you run it back with, Grant? Revenge. Cole Beasley. Only 4.7K.
Oh, no.
Great point per dollar play. Absolutely
You
amazing.
say, oh no, every week. And what does he do every week?
I mean, with the exception of last week, nothing.
And he's a point per dollar play that's going to help you get in the studs. He's an amazing play this week.
Yeah, he's he's not good himself, but he helps you get the good dudes in.
Yeah, and obviously like Russell Gage is right in that range, and he's going to be someone you consider too. And if Julio's out, right, then of course you go to Gage over Beasley. But yeah, I think Beasley's certainly a really strong play. The thing I do love too about the Thanksgiving slate is once you kind of see where all the ownership's going, there's so much leverage opportunities here with the 3-game slate and how to approach it. So dealing with that in tournaments is a fun thing. So look for leverage.
Talk about that. That's important because just talk about that. We don't talk strategy a ton on here because it's a first look podcast. We don't dig too much into that. But so say you hit on the right guy in the Chicago-Detroit Lions game, whoever that happens to be. Then you have like somebody ambitious in a later game. Do you move those into like chalk players? Like, talk about how that works because you say that and some people might not understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you can. Like a great example is people took a shot on LeGarrette Blount. I think that last season. He had 3 touchdowns. Yeah, like he was like 2% owned, right? So if you had a 2% owned LeGarrette Blount that scored like 2 or 3 touchdowns for min salary, well, what would you do? Let's say that happened on this slate. Well, you'd make sure to play Michael Thomas. You'd make sure to jam in all these studs. You'd make sure to have Alvin Kamara. That was something that happened. So that's definitely a way to approach it. And looking at ownership projections, which I'm sure we'll have over here on RotoGrinders, looking at them Thursday morning is going to be really important to see, hey, what spots are there maybe people not on as much, right? Like maybe everyone's on like Amari Cooper, for instance. Let's say everyone's on him. Maybe then you pivot over to Michael Gallup just for the leverage opportunity. If let's say Cooper's going to be 40% and Gallup's going to be 5, like there's just so much opportunity there. So I'm not Blender over here, but I'm basically saying you can play whoever you want. Just look at ownership.
LeGarrette Blount played football last year in the NFL? Was he a thing last year? I don't recall.
I think it might have been 2 years ago when he was with the Patriots.
No, it was with the Lions. I'll look at it.
Oh, gosh, you are right.
It's a timely reference here.
I'm always right, Grant.
Tell that to your tweet.
Oh, man. Let's not talk about that one.
How many times is this losing in a row, Mangone? Or you have a losing streak going, right?
I don't know. By the way, LeGarrette Blount, he didn't just play football last year. He had 154 attempts, 5 touchdowns, 418 yards. And yes, 2 of those touchdowns, he went 19 for 88. 2 touchdowns. How
many receptions, Grant? I'm going to set the over-under receptions for LeGarrette Blount last year at 4.5. What say you?
I'm going the over.
What are you going? Over, under, Dean?
I'm the house. I just set the line.
Well, listen, the house just got crushed. I mean, 10 receptions on 15 targets. I mean, I don't know if I can firmly say this, but this might be the only podcast that talks about LeGarrette Blount this week.
He might actually have his own podcast. And
that was the second most. Last year was the second most receptions he had in a year in his career.
Yeah, I believe that. I thought 4.5 was a decent line, but what do I know?
2.7 yards per carry, man.
We're going bankrupt, the house, unfortunately. All right, Grant, you have any other notes as far as this 3-gamer? You have like a bold proclamation? Who's going to stand out? Who's going to break the slate?
Josh Allen's going to be the highest scoring player on the entire slate.
What about Kenny Galladay?
Yeah, his price is nice, man. He had a pretty nice price decrease at 6.1K. So, Kenny Galladay is going to be in the conversation for sure as a really good play. Here's one less injury note, actually. This is actually really important. Taylor Gabriel, he was a non-participant because of a concussion, and we know how concussions can be a bit of an issue. So, Anthony Miller. 3.9K, that's going to be the guy that we're just jamming in our lineups for value.
Who else could be catching footballs there? Javon Wims, Cordell Patterson.
No, yeah, definitely those guys are going to be in play. So stay tuned to the injury reports and everything. That's always super important. And, coach notes, all those kind of things.
Ben Brodnecker. It's a tight end, by the way.
He's questionable too, and Adam Sheehan. So maybe J.P. Holtz gets the
last man standing, J.P. Holtz. It's going to break the slate.
Or Jesper Horsted. This is not a creative player.
No, that's not a person.
Yes, it is.
If I Google that, like a face will pop up.
Jesper had a catch last week. He had 1.4 fantasy points.
It's like the modern day LeGarrette Blount. All right. Anything else good, Mangone, as far as the 3-game Thanksgiving slate, or shall we talk about the main slate?
No, man, let's talk about the main slate. It's definitely a fun time, though. Make sure to get in those contests and join that Yahoo tournament while you can, because it's going to fill soon.
There's a chance it's filled by the time this podcast comes out.
Yeah, that's why I'm just saying, like, this, like don't be like, oh, I'll fill after the podcast. Like, no, get in now. If you haven't joined yet, do it now.
I understand that they're the sponsor of the show, but like honestly, this does not come along very often, and you should fully take advantage of it. And I've registered 20 tournaments in there, so there you go. Good times. Look at me, I'm mass entering. I'm like Big T over here. See if you can bink it. When I do my screenshot, people are like, "Hey, you lost." I know somehow some goof, which that may happen too. All right, there's a Monday night game. We're not talking about that. Minnesota, Seattle, cross them off the list. New England and Houston do play on our sponsor site, but of course they don't play on other sites. We do have an 11-game main slate. Andy Dalton's back in our lives. Are you excited about this, Grant? That sounds like something you would get excited about.
Oh, why wouldn't I be excited about that? He's 4,700, Dean.
And he's also got a nickname. Is the Red Rocket or the Red Rifle? Which red is it?
Red Rocket refers to an uncorked, for better use of a better word, dog peen.
I was going somewhere completely different in my head, but fair enough. Nonetheless, are we going to play? I mean, what's his emotional state? It's like, oh, now you want me to play?
His emotional state is he's trying to make sure he plays on another team next year. So showing they still got it against one of the worst passing defenses in the league.
Do we think AJ Green's all of a sudden going to be healthy?
I don't think so.
Okay. I thought he was kind of holding out because, like, why bother? Like, he doesn't have a real quarterback. But I thought in Cincinnati was kind of sort of taking to some degree. But, all right, Mangone.
Now they've got a nice 2-game buffer on the first overall pick. Dalton wins this game, and they're like, oh, gosh. All right, Dalton's back to the bench.
Start limping.
We got one.
Oh, man. Mangone, I don't really know why I started with Andy Dalton. That's what we're going to talk about, I suppose. What else is going on this week? Oh, you get that Cleveland-Pittsburgh rematch, which will,
I mean, you started with, like, the best quarterback on the entire slate. So, like, why not? This was a good –
Not Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, no. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a GOAT, but, it's
2019.
It's AJ Green, man. I mean, not AJ Green. It's Andy Dalton, man. Like, he's just too cheap, right? He's $6K on FanDuel. He's 4.7K, I believe, on DraftKings. The reason that it's really nice to play Andy Dalton is because he's going to open up so many things. But here's the question here. Like, quarterback isn't, like, my priority spend most of the time. I don't normally start with quarterback. I start with the meat, right? I start with the running backs and the receivers.
Turkey. It's Thanksgiving week. Come on.
Yeah. So I guess even though turkey's not that good, we're starting with the turkey, right? And that's the running backs and the receivers. So if I don't have value, right? Like if I'm looking like last week, like I'm like, okay, are we playing Patrick Laird and Bo Scarborough? If I'm looking at Brian Hill and Miles Sanders getting like none of the work, basically 50% of the time it was a J split, then yeah, I'm going to go down at quarterback because I need to. And again, this is a good matchup too. They're going against the New York Jets. We know it's an absolute pass funnel. This is a spot that I definitely think that, you have to consider in cash games. And in tournaments, it makes a lot of sense. Now, if we end up getting value, like really good, like 3K running backs or 4K running backs, he's not as much in play. He's still in the conversation for tournaments and what, but for cash games, he wouldn't be as in play.
L. Jackson or Mahomes, you have all the money. Which one you want?
Oh, man, that's a great question, man, because, I mean, Mahomes, he should light it up here. But Lamar Jackson, we know how amazing he's been. Going against that Niners defense, though, I mean, listen, that pressure that those guys can put on can be really tough. My one worry is we know San Francisco, right? They like to run the ball, and I think they're going to be smart enough to try and do their best to keep it away from Lamar. I'm going to say Mahomes, but I wouldn't be shocked by the end of the week. I'm like, Travis, you're an idiot. Just play Lamar. He's cheaper for $400.
Grant, your thoughts on the top, and then I think there's a guy in the middle that's going to kind of jump out for you as well. I want to see if you say him before I say him. So give me your thoughts as far as the upper tier quarterbacks and work your way down.
I want to pay up for quarterbacks, but right now there's probably 3 or 4 guys on my list, maybe 5, depending on if his weapons are healthy. It's Mahomes and Lamar up there at the top. Like, both of them are absolutely fantastic plays. Love both of them. Probably have a slight lean towards Mahomes. People forget how good he was because he's been playing most of this season injured, and he did have a bad game against the Chargers last time he was out, but he's coming off a bye week. I believe. Is he coming off? Yeah, he is coming off a bye week. I can't remember if he played on Monday night or not.
We assume he's healthier because he hasn't looked great, like you said. Yeah.
He hasn't looked great for most of the season.
By his own standard.
Beginning of the season, before he got injured, he was fantastic. He was getting 30 points a game. Then he came back from injury. He got 30 points. He had a rough game versus the Chargers there. That was a little bit of a weird one. I don't entirely understand it, but I think that he's back to it, and he's going up against Oakland where they're a pass funnel. And then Jackson's fine. Outside of them, I'm guessing the guy you were referring to is Foles.
Oh, yeah. He's got that BDE from the torso.
Yeah, BDN's got BDE. Yeah. And, I mean, the problem is I'm not sure if he can fit through this funnel pass defense.
Gosh. Oh, boy.
But
yeah.
BDN's probably the best point per dollar play at quarterback here. I mean, going up against Tampa Bay, he's been throwing boatloads of passes. He has a ton of weapons. He didn't look great versus Tennessee, but Tennessee's not an easy defense. He didn't look great versus Indy, but Indy's not an easy defense here. He's thrown 47 and 48 grand. They were coming from behind both those games. I don't expect it to happen again. They're probably going to run a decent amount with Fournette, but this is a beautiful matchup against Tampa Bay here. It's absolutely perfect here. I absolutely love Foles. If you don't want to go with him, I think Rivers is a decent GBP play. Not the highest team total here, but he is a guy that can put up a boatload of yards, boatload of points every single week. And I know he hasn't a whole lot this season, but you're just looking for guys in this range, and no one really stands out here. And I think Rivers' price with who you can probably pair him with is probably about the best you're going to get in this range if you're not going Foles.
I think you're the last person to tout Phillip Rivers. This is it. Like, Mangone, is anybody else going to tout Phillip Rivers from this day forward? I think it's done. That's the last time we're going to ever hear of him.
Yeah, I mean it's not looking pretty for him, but I don't think he's the last man. If Patrick Laird is getting touted, I think Rivers still has a couple touts left in him. So I will say this. Here's trivia time for you guys. Name in the past 4 weeks. Name the number 2 fantasy quarterback behind Lamar Jackson. Who you guys got?
Not Phillip Rivers. How about Tannehill?
Yeah, D, you are the winner, man. You have won nothing. So yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Sorry.
Well, I don't care about him.
I get the home version of this podcast.
Yeah, no, I just thought 5,700. It's interesting, right? He's been crushing, and listen, this isn't the matchup I'm like dying to go against, but it isn't a dome, right? And this is the time of year where we're starting to look at dome games, and they're super important. I don't care if Jared Goff is in Arizona or a dome. Listen, I don't know if I want to mess with him. He has just been so freaking bad. It is a question to ask though, because there's so much bias, right, on Jared Goff being terrible and the Rams just offense being terrible, and they get to play against Arizona, and we know anyone can crush Arizona. So what about them in tournaments? Like, do we have any interest in this team?
I mean, you're supposed to say yes because it's Arizona and it's a dome and he's got actual talented pieces. Yeah, I mean, it's a cop-out in a tournament, sure. If I'm playing enough tournaments, yeah, I'm definitely going to have a Goff team. I'm not going to be happy about it. Who do you pair him with? Cooper Kupp? A la carte?
I mean, you can pair him with all the guys, right?
Everett. Dean, I don't know if you know this. Yeah. Arizona's very bad versus the tight end.
No. Where is that scientifically proven? Where has anybody tweeted that out yet?
I mean, Cardi says it's not true, and he's clearly never wrong about Christian McCaffrey either.
He's not wrong about Aaron Rodgers. He said Kirk Cousins is better than Aaron Rodgers. Terrible take. terrible take.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it was a rough night last night. Let's just say that.
Oh, for sure, man.
You know what's crazy?
But no, listen, I've had a rough couple of weeks with these, bets. But no one's selling out on me. No one's saying.
I'm fading you, Mangone. I'm not State Kings, Mangone. Nope, I'm good.
Guys, so Jared Goff, over the last 5 games, he hasn't had between 6.7 and 25 points once. He's had 2 25-point games and 3 of them under 7 points. You look at the actual game log, and it's pretty impressive. People don't realize that he is absolutely horrible in tough matchups, but very, very good in good matchups here.
It's impressive how terrible he's been.
Against Chicago, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, all tough matchups, he all did absolutely terrible. Cincinnati, Atlanta, Seattle, Tampa Bay, averaged 25 points during those games. So he can do well in any good matchup here. And now he gets a good matchup going up against Arizona. a team that will, in all likelihood, probably keep the game close, where he does get a increase in plays. I wasn't really looking at him too much, but yeah, Trav, I think you're right. I think Goff is actually a very good play this week, and I could see a whole lot of, which this never works out well when it actually happens, but a whole lot of ownership go towards him, and I think it might be the right move.
Yeah, so Gridiron IQ, I think, doesn't it have this, Travis, as far as like pressure? And I feel like more so than most other quarterbacks, his numbers skew based upon how much pressure is put on him. I think he buckles under the pressure. Again, don't hold me to this. This is Mangone. This is a first look podcast. We're not talking about pressures and not pressures and things like that. But I'm just going to say, most likely, Arizona probably not a defense that puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and he thrives. Of course, all quarterbacks are to prefer not to get pressured, to have more time in the pocket. So, but I just feel like his numbers are more skewed based upon that. Something I want to dig into off air. It's just Monday night, man. We got all week to figure this one out. Is there another quarterback you want to talk about, Mangone? We talked about Mahomes, biggest total on the slate. Absolutely ravaged Oakland last time out. They have the biggest total on the board, I believe, as well. We talked about Foles in the second total on the board. The totals aren't very big this week. We have 51 as far as KC and Oakland. Tampa and Jacksonville's got a 49 total. Then all of a sudden it jumps down to that Rams-Arizona game at 46. Giants and your Packers at 46 as well, too. And I don't know. It's we've been dealing with a lot of like weird slates, Mangone. Is this another weird one, or do we like this one? What's our first look thoughts?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think there's gonna be a lot of different ways that you can go to. Like Rodgers too against the Giants. The Giants are awful. I mean, if Mitch Trubisky can look good against you, like Aaron Rodgers should dice him up. So yeah, man. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to go this week. I think this is going to be a really awesome week for cash games, tournaments, all around. I think it's going to be a fun one.
One way you shouldn't go differently is McCaffrey at running back at home versus Washington. I know we live in the world of a salary cap, Grant, but we're supposed to find a way to play McCaffrey, right?
Is he good?
It's very good. I mean, I'm told running backs don't matter, but I think he matters.
If you look at the models, he's 10.5K. That's a little too pricey for him. So I don't know if you can do that. That's what some of the guys are saying out there.
Mangone, were you pushing your glasses up when you were saying that?
I may have been, but listen.
I thought you were putting in your hair in a ponytail like Derek Carty.
But listen, we don't have anyone
sustainable.
We have no one to pay for, right? Like we don't have Michael Thomas at the receiver.
We have one person to pay for.
Christian McCaffrey.
His name is Le'Veon Bell.
What?
And I'm saying like you look at the top 10. I don't actually mean that. I don't mean he's a great play, but like you look at the last week, we had a lot of top price guys in very good matchups. Like Nick Chubb was going up against Miami. Fournette was going up against Tennessee. Like we had guys in decent matchups. Now you look at the top, we got Chubb going versus Cleveland, or Chubb going against Pittsburgh, 8th ranked DVOA. We got Fournette going up against Tampa Bay. Derrick Henry versus Indy is a decent spot, but now he's priced up way more than he has been in the past. Barkley hasn't looked the same. James Conner may not play. Like the first time you actually get to a legitimate good matchup, it's Le'Veon Bell versus Cincinnati. So we don't have guys to pay up for this week, which is what Mangone was saying. So, yeah, I think we do need to play Christian McCaffrey.
When do we stop saying never again on Barkley? Or at least never this season on Barkley? Or do we play him? Because I'm just bitter because he was on my best lineup last week and he ruined it. Yeah, I tweeted at him very angrily.
Barkley's actually not a bad play here against the Packers. So I don't mind it. And, like, the price is getting nice. But like I said, the analytics guys, they're going to say you can't do that. Or you can't play McCaffrey. You need to play these bell cows in the 7K range instead. I'm just going to go to McCaffrey. Like, it's Washington. It's going to be a good time. So I'm with you. A lot of these guys in this range aren't the greatest. The one guy that's kind of interesting, I think Grant may brought up good points about Bell, but in the same range as Josh Jacobs, right? We know Kansas City. We know what happens with them. They struggle a ton against the run. The problem is Casey's likely to get up big early. And, like, do we think that they kind of, disappear from Josh Jacobs and go to, the other guys that they always go to? Like, I don't even know who it is. Is it like Washington?
Jalen Richards?
Yeah, Rashard. Like, so I don't know. That's my one worry with a guy like Jacobs. But the matchup is great, right? If you told me he was going to get all the work. But I don't know. It seems like a pretty good spot to, spend up for McCaffrey and then, maybe in this like 7K range for a couple of those guys.
Week 2, we had 12 carries against Kansas City for 99 yards and 0 catches. Like, I think I'll take the over on 0 catches more than LeGarrette Blount this week. But, yeah, I mean, that's you don't want him to get blown out, which certainly might happen. But I do agree. If that game stays fairly tight, Jacobs can run like 150 yards against Kansas City. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Do you have a cheapie here, Grant, if we're kind of taking a peek down as far as the salaries? Who jumps out for you?
At this point in the week, I don't have a super cheap guy. Like we mentioned Jalen Richard. I think he's about the only cheap guy I'm really looking at. But the guys in the lower 5K range, I think, are the good options.
Have you guys seen David Johnson's price?
Oh God, it's whatever it is. It's too much.
It's 4.6K. Like David Johnson is the same price as Gus Edwards. Benny Snell Jr. is 4.7K. He is more expensive than David Johnson. Wayne Gallman, 4.7K, more than David Johnson.
Wow. I'll take Benny Snell over David Johnson, by the way. The guy got 20 carries last week.
David Johnson.
No.
Over on FanDuel, he's averaging negative points over the last 3 games.
Oh, yeah. It's like he's in slow motion if you watch the video. He's got to be hurt, I assume, right?
I think he just got paid and fat.
I don't know. I'm not sure. We use girthy or husky around these parts, Grant, just so you know.
I think
was that a PH you're talking?
I think he's dealing with an injury. I think we all know that they decided to go to, they made that trade for Drake and everyone was like, okay, like, why are you doing this for only 1 week? And it's because something's clearly wrong with David Johnson. He's not 100%. So, that's something obviously worth monitoring. Miles Sanders against Miami. We're always
looking at that.
Yeah, we're always like anyone against Miami. And I don't know. Is Jordan Howard playing? Here's the quote we have on him now. Peterson said Howard still hasn't regained full strength. Will likely be limited. Individual work practice begins week 13. So it's the Dolphins, right? They don't need Jordan Howard. I wouldn't be shocked if they just run.
Guys,
Jay Ajayi revenge game.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh,
3K Jay Ajayi.
And game script suggests. I'm not saying to play Jay Ajayi, but I think he's
I'm saying to play Jay Ajayi now.
Listen, there's been worse running backs touted in Miami games this year. There was one last week. Patrick
Laird? So. Yeah. Not in this podcast.
No, we did.
I think Laird ended up with more points than Jay Ajayi did last week.
Well, because game script wouldn't go in their favor. If they're ahead by 2 touchdowns, Ajayi gets some work, right? Assuming Howard's out.
I mean, maybe, but yeah, Laird outscored Ajayi last week. Ajayi got 6 carries last week.
Yeah, well, they were down the whole game.
Well, that is true. Good for you, Dean.
That's what Ajayi can't catch the ball. He's got that LeGarrette Blunt hand.
Here, I got one cheapie for you.
The 10-catch LeGarrette Blunt hands.
Hey, listen, I got one cheapie for you that's kind of interesting. I mean, I'm just going to read you the game logs. They've been pretty nice.
Oh, boy.
26.6, 13.1, 18.6, 16.9, 6.3, and 15. He's 4.5K. You're like, wow, like that's surprising. You weren't expecting that. Like,
it's gonna be a terrible name.
No, it's not a terrible name.
Jamal Williams.
It's Jamal Williams, and in this game that could shoot out possibly. Like, I think Jamal Williams is kind of interesting at that price tag. Again, we play him for the PPR upside too, as well. Like that. That's why we play him.
I like players that are on the field, though.
No, I agree. Dean, I like players on the field too, but I think it's an interesting tournament stack, right? You could do the Rodgers, Jamal Williams, and Devontae Adams. I think that 3-man stack is really intriguing here in this spot. So don't sleep on him as a cheap option at the running back position.
Oh, man.
It's not a terrible play. He's right. But outside of those guys, Ronald Jones, I think, is in a pretty good spot here going up against Jacksonville. Jacksonville has been great. It's supposed to be a close game here. Jones has been decent. And then Kareem Hunt at 5.5K. He's going up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gives up a ton of receiving work to opposing running backs here. Hunt is getting a decent amount of involvement in the lineups or in the offense so far. And he's 5.5K. People are probably going to go to Chubb, but Kareem Hunt could get anywhere from 8 to 10 targets. He was getting 8 targets a week prior to last week where it was just complete and total blowout.
Chubb, by the way, was only in the field 57% of the snaps last week. Do we think there's going to be shenanigans in that game or no shenanigans as far as Pittsburgh and Cleveland?
I don't even know what you mean by shenanigans.
Well, I don't know. You wouldn't qualify taking a helmet and swinging at somebody's head as being shenanigans?
Oh,
it's a rematch.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you mean by shenanigans. I was thinking like trick plays and stuff. I mean,
that might happen too, but I don't know how to predict it.
I mean, I don't know. I will take the under of helmets bash against people's
a half a
head
swing.
using. Yeah, less than a half. Well, did you see the video of the
That was
Cleveland?
amazing. It was so terrible, but amazing.
Guys, if you have not seen it yet, just look up Cleveland Browns pinata.
Are we encouraging this behavior?
Not encouraging.
No, we're not.
But I'm encouraging a good laugh of just people being idiots.
Yeah. All right.
It's classic Cleveland. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, well, you're taking shots at Cleveland now?
Yes.
They're gonna have a picture of you with a pinata next week.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm already full of candy. I have a bag of Twinkies sitting next to me. Sorry, box with them individually in bags.
Fun fact, I actually did Raz. I yelled at Grant for having Twinkies pre-show. If you're going to have like something bad, have something like delicious too. But
is this the point where the podcast where I go, Dean, is that a fun fact? Because you say that about everything.
Well, it's not a fun fact. You're probably right. You know what? I'll tell you what's not fun, eating Twinkies.
Yeah, it is.
It's more fun to say than it is to eat. How about that?
They're golden sponge cake with creamy filling.
Yeah, that's the packaging. That's the advertising to get you to purchase it. But once you buy Twinkies once, you're like, oh, wait a second. This is just like a marketing gimmick. Like, they're terrible.
Dean, if I ship a GPP on the Thanksgiving slate, you have to eat. You have to eat 6 Twinkies on Periscope.
Why am I eating Twinkies on Periscope? Why?
I don't know. I'm just trying to bait you.
I'd rather eat like a Zinger. I don't even want that. I don't want that either.
I'm a big fan of ding dongs and ho-hos.
Oh, what's the one that has the coconut at the top? Snowballs? Oh,
snowballs. Snowballs are not great.
Gross.
Those are not good.
Anything coconut is gross unless it's shrimp. Anything else?
Deal breaker. I'm out.
Yeah, why does shrimp get the monopoly on coconut being great on it?
Coconut shrimp is good. Me and Mangone, we're shrimp compatible. Look at that. I wasn't aware of this.
I'm in, man. We can go get endless shrimp at Red Lobster whenever you're in.
Oh, Trav, I will fly. I've been looking for someone to go to Red Lobster with me to get all you can eat shrimp.
So get this. This is the most random.
Where are you looking for this person?
This is the most random thing ever. Me and my friend and his my friends used to work there when we were in college, so we used to go for endless shrimp with my friend and his dad, and we used to always joke that there was like a champion who would eat the most shrimp. And my friend's dad bought a trophy, so every year he had a trophy that we'd give back to each other. And I currently have the trophy, man. I am the endless shrimp king.
Well, you probably stopped going like 15, 20 years ago.
Nah, we didn't go this
20 years ago, Mango was 5 years old.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I rounded up.
We didn't go this past one, that's all. But it's a really funny thing that you mentioned.
He's just dodging now competition. He's like the endless. If he doesn't make an appearance, he's still a champ.
He retired from the ring.
He's the Kobayashi. He's the Kobayashi of shrimp. All right. Seamless segue to wide receivers.
Oh, that was so random. It's so funny you brought that up.
Well, Mike Evans is the top dog now. He's the alpha in Tampa. He's the most expensive guy, at least on Yahoo right now. I know Devontae Adams is kind of cheap on DK. He's $31 on Yahoo as well. And Mangone, that's your boy. You're a Packers fan. Adams, I think, did he have a decent game last time? I think he did, despite the fact that, Rodgers only threw for like a total of 100 yards. Which
but he did great, though, all around. I mean, it's just because of the market share, right? He had 12 targets. And, here's his targets, right? Last 4 weeks. Actually, we'll do 3 weeks because that's since he's been healthy. 11, 10, 12. And the week he got hurt, he ended up getting 15 targets. So this guy just has so much market share from this team. He got his first touchdown last season. He's obviously, one of those guys that has more positive touchdown regression coming his way. We saw it hit big time with Leonard Fournette last week. I'm sure it's going to keep hitting here with a guy like Devontae Adams. I mean, I don't know if you saw the touchdown they gave him, Dean. That was one of those, let's get this guy in the box. They ran at the goal line. They ran they needed 2 yards, and they did the little, bring Devontae Adams in on a I'm losing the word for it, but did you just
walk in and out of a bathroom or something?
No. Yeah, your voice changed entirely.
No, but
anyways, did you just hit puberty? Isn't that time of your life?
My voice
Give him a trophy.
My voice is all messed up because of this sickness that I have. So
no, we're talking about literally split second. It changed entirely.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. It's because, again, my lymph nodes are all a disaster. So I'm taking medicine for it.
No, take a baby aspirin. You'll be good. 2 if you fly.
But anyways, so they basically, they brought him in motion, and Rodgers did the touch pass to him, basically. So they were trying their best to make sure they got him in the end zone. Tons of targets. Like I told you, Dean, I loved him last week. I was playing him on the
showdown.
I played him on the showdown. I played him on the Thursday through Sunday or Monday. I'm going to play him again here. Absolutely love Devontae Adams. $7K, I think, is a really nice price tag on him. And I think he's in a really great spot here against the Giants. He should absolutely feast.
DJ Moore is legit. Like, it's time we start talking about him like he's like a legit number one receiver. Now he's priced up there as well. Assuming the Rams offense bounces back, Kupp facing that Arizona defense, all the receivers for the Rams should be in play, at least in theory. Chark, we talk about Chark season against Tampa. I feel like you've mentioned him a couple times in this podcast, Grant. Is he somebody you're going back to as well?
Oh, yeah. I have a few guys highlighted here. And there's obviously Hill up at the top if he ends up playing. I don't think – is he out for this game? I haven't even checked his injury report. But, yeah, he's questionable. But if he does end up playing, then he's a guy that you can look at, although it's a little bit tough to pay that price tag. But, all right, guys, you mentioned Adams is one of my favorite plays on the entire slate here. People forget how good he is, how big the target share is, pretty much everything with him. And he is priced a little bit too cheap at $7K there. Mike Evans, everyone saw Godwin go nuts this last week. Evans didn't do anything, but we've seen this so many times so far this season. It could be Evans' week again, and I'm going to play a lot of both of them. But Baby Chark is one of my favorite plays on the entire slate here. We've seen how Foles has connected with him so far this season. It was a little bit different situation last week just because of the way that the game went about. But he was looking at him a decent amount of times. I think one of his catches actually got called back. But he still ended up with 10 points, only getting 6 targets because all Foles really did was just dump off the ball to Fournette over and over and over again. And Tennessee took away the deep ball. But with Chark going up against against Tennessee, with him going up against Tampa Bay, this is an absolutely fantastic spot. If Hilton's healthy, 6.2 is a little bit too cheap. Christian Kirk, there's no guarantee that Ramsey's going to be on Kirk. They could go to Fitzgerald, although I don't know. But 5.7K, too much upside there. Boyd with Dalton back in at 5.5K going up against New York is great. The other guy I've highlighted is the Gazelle in a clear passing spot going up against KC. I think he could be a decent play here, but that's kind of like the higher priced wide receivers in between the 5.5 and 7K range.
All right, Mangone, anybody you want to elaborate? Any names you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Adams is one guy I absolutely liked a ton there. Someone I definitely going to load up on. The cheap guys, though, I don't know, man. It's not the greatest range for me. I'm not liking a ton here. I mean, I get it. Like, Jameson Crowder could be fine, but will they be running at the ball a ton? That's the one thing that Jets team is solid. Tyler Boyd at 5.5K. I like that price tag on him. He's someone that I'll definitely look at. What do you want to do with the Rams receivers, right? Like, they're really cheap. Are we going to consider them in cash games and tournaments?
Well, Kupp at 7-1. I wouldn't say that's really cheap.
I didn't mean him. I meant Woods and Cooks, right? Like, those are 5.2 and 5. What is it? 5.4.
But even Kupp, like, we're talking tournaments. I kind of went through how Goff does in good matchups, and this is a good matchup where they're going to be running more plays because it's against the Cardinals. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're all in play for tournaments. He was talking about cash specifically. I don't know if I can get there.
Yeah, but I think tournaments, obviously,
Maybe.
Yeah. And Kupp's got the telepathic connection, right? That's the narrative. Kupp says he basically has a telepathic.
Well, where was that tonight? Was there a satellite blocking the telepathy? Or
may have that could have been what the Ravens were doing. But one of the guys who's really interesting is D.D. Westbrook at 5K. I mean those targets last week, 6 targets, 9 targets the past 2 weeks. That's with Nick Foles. We know that we were all high on D.D. Westbrook to start out the season with Nick Foles, and now that Foles is back, I think he's going to be a really strong cash play at 5K as a really nice value play. Another Jet receiver to mention, again, Bengals in general, they're not that good. 4.8K for Robbie Anderson. We know what his upside can be, so Robbie Anderson is someone that you definitely want to consider a little bit. Again, another cheap guy, Chris Conley, right? 4.5K.
Grant's guy.
Yeah, he's seeing great targets, man. So don't sleep on him. He was also a buy low air yards model guy last week, and I don't know what the buy low air.
Don't sleep on any Jacksonville wide receiver. They're all getting a boatload of targets because they're throwing the ball a lot, and none of them are nearly expensive enough. We saw Conley get 9 targets.
You can safely sleep on Keelan Cole. Just going to throw it out there. Safely sleep. Take a nap.
I mean, you can fairly safely sleep because no one else is going to open. He occasionally has upside last year. But yeah, I'm mostly talking about Dede, Conley, and Chark.
Yeah, those three are the strongest. I think the expensive receivers, there's some pretty good options, but the one range that I don't love, it just feels like the guys might be a little bit priced up, is some of that 6 and higher end 5K range. But those cheaper guys, like the 4 and the lower 5s, it seems like there's some pretty good opportunity there. And you know who else is there? Sammy Watkins, right? Sammy Watkins, he's a pretty strong player.
Oh gosh,
you got to consider him at 5.4K.
That's actually a pretty good price. It's scary though because he's been a disaster most of the season.
And what's going to happen with Tyreek Hill? He's questionable, right?
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah.
So the word from Andy Reid is he's optimistic about Hill's availability. But here's the thing, right? I think the Chiefs have, I think they realize that they want to have their guys healthy. They haven't had their guys healthy all season long. So if they're up, they're not going to push Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't be shocked if they just said, hey, Tyreek, we're going to use you, on a pitch count. That wouldn't surprise me. And if that's the case, hello, Mr. Sammy Watkins, you are someone that we will be looking at.
On the other side in that game, Grant's boy, at least at one point it was Grant's boy, Hunter Renfrow, he's got a rib. So
wait, was that ever my boy? You keep throwing this in my mouth.
This was a guy.
I'll happily take it. I think it was Mangone's boy.
I was joking about it. And listen,
gosh, don't you say that. Don't you do that.
No,
you were not joking.
No, it wasn't completely. No, but he was fine. He's not. I mean, I wasn't saying he's like Devontae Adams or anything. I saw actually a report that someone, and I joked because this is free.
He's out
here.
That's what I'm saying. He's got a rib. I mean, I don't want to say it's Zay Jones season, but who's next man up for Oakland?
Dean, if you were
maybe it's just
Dean, if you were on Hunter Renfrow, you're not on Zay Jones. Knock it off.
It's Darren Waller season.
Oh gosh, yes. We'll get to tight ends in a second, but yes.
Yeah, I'm not playing Zay Jones. I don't think I am. I don't like to speak in definitives on Monday because you never really know. We reserve the right to change our opinions because this is a first look podcast. So
I never change, Dean.
You should. You could become an old curmudgeon if you never change. The times
I already am an old curmudgeon. Well, I tell kids to stay off my lawn all the time.
I can see that for sure.
All right, one if we're looking for a Tuttle 1 in 150 really bad play out there. I know the Eagles receiving core is banged up. Don't know how banged up it'll be next week, but anyone against Miami feels like a good idea. And JJ Arcega-Whiteside, if he gets the snaps again, I think he's kind of intriguing at 3.2K.
What about Ward?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 4-1, so it's pricier.
It's too expensive for a receiver against the Dolphins.
No, I mean, if he's going to have to work too. I mean, he got 7 targets. The one thing I like is I just think Arcega-Whiteside is a better player, and he was struggling a little bit to start out the season, but there were some really encouraging quotes that, over the bye week and throughout the start of the year, he just didn't know the playbook and was having trouble understanding it, and it just took him some time. And my thought process was just the Eagles, they are a sharp team, right? Probably a more difficult playbook than some other teams.
I want my guy to know the playbook 4 months into the season.
Yeah, no, he knows it now. And the thing is, he didn't know all the positions. They wanted him to know every single spot and everything. And it was just one of those things. Alshon Jeffrey took him under his wing, and he's a super talented guy, and they drafted him pretty high. So I don't know. I think Arcega-Whiteside is the guy I would go to over Ward for the discount at 3 points.
I pulled up their snap counts from last week. Not what I anticipated, actually. Jordan Matthews, 96% of the snaps. Greg Ward at 49%. Mac Hollins at 5%. And JJ Arcega-Whiteside at 71%. So
yeah, I'm telling you, man, Arcega-Whiteside is the guy, not Greg Wood.
Well, he was was he first or second round pick? Was he a high draft pick?
Yeah, Arcega-Whiteside was. Yeah, that's what I just said. I said he was a pretty high draft pick. He's someone that they want to be the guy. They're gonna make it happen, and they're encouraged by everything. I read a ton of stuff on it. I feel good about him. Again, this is a 1 in 150 kind of thing. I actually played him in cash last week over N'Keal Harry because I needed the 300.
Oh, what a donkey!
Nah, it worked out, man. I cashed. It didn't matter. He did what he had to do.
I actually played some Allen Hurns in cash. Didn't sweat that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we were all looking at bad 3K receivers, right?
I played Allen Hurns in cash back-to-back weeks.
Oh man!
And it's worked at least once. I don't know. 50% of the time works every time, or 60% of the time.
I don't mind Hurns. I still don't mind Hurns. I'll keep playing him just because he's cheap.
And he's on the field a ton. He was I didn't check the snaps this week, but the 2 previous weeks, 90-95%. And they like him. He's good enough where he's not going to embarrass the team, but he's bad enough where he's going to make sure they lose.
Yeah, just a heads up. When we're talking Arcega-Whiteside, Hearn, let's go to tight end. Greg, talk to us about Waller. Let's get out of receiver.
Or the Eagles tight ends, since we're on the Eagles. But go ahead, Grant.
I have no interest in Ertz. I have very little interest in Ertz, actually, but it's not a good game script. I mean, yes, there's the injuries, blah, blah, blah. But Waller's my guy this week. He's 5.5K. That's too darn cheap. He gets the nuts matchup versus KC. Renfro's not in the lineup anymore, so concentrated targets are going to be going his way. I absolutely love Waller. He's the top tight end play on the slate here for me, and it's not remotely close. KC is 26th in fantasy points given up, 4th overall in targets to opposing tight ends, and he is in a smash spot here. He only had 12 points the first time they played, but he's gotten better since then. He hasn't been great recently, but it's been a little bit matchup oriented and a little bit.
So, I just want to make sure I understand. You said the nut matchup for tight ends was not the matchup against Arizona?
No, one of the nut.
Oh, okay. Well, by definition, isn't Mangone. The nut matchup
Dean,
means
just asking how many nuts do you have?
So you're saying it's a top two. What if we're asking this question?
There can be three. There can be
Tom
three.
Green? What's that?
Yeah. Tom Green did lose one. You could have said Lance Armstrong too, but
I know I Rolodexed in my head, and I wasn't sure which one you would know. And I knew Mangone would probably. Well, he probably knows who Lance Armstrong is.
I know Tom Green. I know that. We've talked about him. He was on, and the way I know him is because he was on Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother. That's how I know.
That's how we all know Tom Green from Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh gosh.
Ebron's on the IR, so Doyle is cheap, and he's probably going to get a few more targets shuffled his way. 3.3K in DK. And by the way, speaking of Waller, who I agree with you, Grant, I like Waller as well. $19 on Yahoo. That's a pretty appealing price. Like comparing around as far as the shopping. Kelsey's 28, Kittle's 24, Andrews 22, Henry is 20, Ertz 19, Waller also 19. Mangone, jump in here. Talk about some tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some tight ends here that you want to look at. Like, is Travis Kelce worth paying for? That's going to be one of the questions here. I think at that price tag is 7.2K. It's a little pricey over on DraftKings. If I have the money, cool, but I don't think he'll be a guy I'm jamming in, maybe more of a fan dual play. Laker call on Ertz, Kittle. He's not a bad play, too, here against Baltimore. Expecting Baltimore to be able to be forcing, San Francisco to, put up some points. So Kittle's definitely an option. I'm sure our buddy Big T will be running back some Kittle here in this spot. I think Waller's probably the best point per dollar play, though, maybe at 5.5K. If it's not him, maybe it's Dallas Goedert based on the situation. He's still cheap at 4.1K, so don't want to sleep on him. I think he's someone that we can consider. I don't know. The cheap guys, though, it's not a ton of light down here. Like, it's just some really gross plays.
Nick O'Leary?
No. I'm good.
No Nick O'Leary at 3,200?
Hey, you want a random trivia question? Who's his grandfather?
I don't know. Jimmy Carter?
No.
President?
I know.
I know who Jimmy Carter is. Oh, Mangone knows it?
No, I said I know I don't have the answer. So.
Oh, okay. Jack Nicklaus. There you go. But, I mean, that's a fact. That's all.
I was thinking Jack Nicholson there for a second, but wow, that's his grandfather?
No, different. The golfer, not the actor.
I know. I'm saying Jack Nicklaus's grandfather?
Jack Nicklaus. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's still around or not. Got a Wikipedia.
But he's still alive.
At least in his 80s, right?
Yeah, he's still alive. He just teed off at the beginning of the Masters, I think, this year.
Did he? Good for him, man. All right. Well, he didn't play it. It's like a ceremonial thing.
No, it's a symbolic thing. I think it was the Masters. Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, that tight end, all the cheap guys are terrible. So
it's Nick O'Leary.
No, Doyle.
Nick O'Leary and Doyle.
Doyle's Doyle's $13 on Yahoo. I don't love that.
Why are you playing Jack Doyle? You don't need to play Jack Doyle
because he's 3,300 and you need to pay up for Mahomes.
Mangone, we live in the world with salary cap.
Play Dallas Goedert instead. 4.1K. I think Doyle's bad. Yeah, I'm gonna look at Doyle's snap count now. Doyle's snap count was ugly the past week.
How about the routes run? That's more important.
Let me look. I'm gonna check everything now.
But also, Ebron's gone. Did you miss that part?
Yeah, I think I missed that part. I didn't realize Ebron's gone. Why is Ebron gone?
You idiot! He's injured.
Welcome to 6 minutes ago.
Remember, guys, this is a first look podcast. This is not the first one you listen to.
This is your first look.
Guys, first look. Hunter Henry and Everett are fantastic plays. Everett's self-explanatory.
I don't want to play Doyle.
He's got the nut matchup, I believe, right?
He does have. He has the main testicle matchup.
I don't know.
The alpha nut matchup.
I'm just hoping. I'm hoping we get value, and I don't have to play Jack Doyle. Oh, that sounds gross. I get it.
But Hunter Henry, like since he's come back, he has in fact been good at football.
Why do you want to play Nick O'Leary, by the way? I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off, but where did Nick O'Leary
It's
come from?
matchup base. I mean, it's Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has been terrible versus the tight end. They're, I think, outside of Kansas City, offering getting the largest target share to opposing tight ends. And also Hunter Henry's averaging 69 yards. Nice. But Nick O'Leary, like, you're looking for value, and there's not really any tight ends in good matchups or anything like that. At the bottom, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of guys I want to go with. Yes, Doyle's fine. But Nick O'Leary is going to come in at just no ownership. And he got 4 targets from Foles last week. He's going up against a great matchup here. I really like Nick O'Leary.
This is the point where you say, hey, we're talking about Nick O'Leary.
This is also assuming that the Valve is not playing.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of let's move on. Let's get this show on the road. We spent the time on the Thanksgiving slate, so we didn't have to talk too much about tight end. Either Jack Doyle or pay up for some of the other big plays.
Yeah, well, that's the podcast. I think we're done before the nonsense, right? Is there anything else?
Yeah, well, we got to figure out. We got to do the draft for our.
We got to play our game. Mangone, the loser, the 4-time loser. I'm not really surfing.
I'm a 4-time loser. You're the 5-time loser. If you just started tuning in a couple weeks ago, Dean is the 5-time loser.
You're only as good as your last at bat, Mangone, and you struck out last
But let's
time.
just all say that I am better than both of you.
Yeah, Grant, you are number 1, and you have been helping Dean. You have been helping him. You've been setting the tee up for him.
He's been helping me? What are you talking about? He's been helping me.
Grant always goes, just, take Drew Brees, Dean. Don't screw this up.
I've been helping him, but this is the first week
I've never heard of Drew Brees. Who's this Drew Brees person? What team has he played for?
He's my golfing buddy.
Yeah, he is Grant's golfing buddy. That is a fact.
And to be fair,
not a chalk fact.
I was debating between Baker Mayfield and Drew Brees last week, so it wouldn't even be more of a massacre.
Whatever,
he's helping me win.
Yeah, I probably hurt him. Hurt him if anything.
Out here colluding, man. Let's box him out. Let's go Thomas and Breeze. I'll take Thomas. You get Breeze.
Take it up with the state officials. If you want to play the game in a protest, by all means.
I feel like that. I feel like I'm, a WWE wrestler, and I look over on the referee. It's, when I pin Grant down.
You do realize I'm the opponent, not the referee.
Well, Grant's turned heel. Is what he's saying.
It's like the 2-on-1 match, man. The WWE fans will get it. No, it's never mind. You know what I'm trying to say, Dean. The referee. You're ruining my WWE reference. All the fans, they're going to be mad, man. They're going to come at you with some rock gifts now.
Hey, Mangone, are you old enough to remember when it was called WWF?
I am old enough to remember that. I wasn't watching then, but I remember it.
You were what, 2 years old?
I don't know. I don't know when that was. I was born in 1990.
I mean, 15. You were born in 1990, man. I keep making fun of you for being young, but we're close to the same age.
We're just like old, and he's not as old.
No, Dean, you are old.
Hold on. I'm old. Grant's not as old, and Mangone's kind of, sort of, somewhat old.
Dean, you're like the older brother.
Yeah.
And me and Trav are the kids from the second marriage to an 18-year-old younger.
You guys get all the nice stuff, and I'm still playing with like a Nintendo or something.
Here's a fun segue to the nonsense. I have my high school reunion on Friday. I haven't signed up to go.
You got to go.
Yeah, I go? I go.
Yeah. Do you know is there anybody you actually want to see, or anybody?
I have friends. I have close friends that they live in other states, and like I don't get to see them that much, and they're going to be there. I don't know, like seriously, like if you think I'm going to regret not going, like please tweet me and tell me to go.
Why would you not go? I mean, if nothing else, you'll get an anecdote for the podcast.
You're right. I am being the worst about it, but like if you do think I'm going to regret it, like please let me know. Like push it on me.
Just go.
Somebody shunned you in high school, and then like they're going to be like, oh wow, look at Mango, look at we make sure you show off the pecs and the whole deal. Like, do you have a flattering outfit you can wear, like a suit of some sort?
I don't think wear a suit.
Dean, you're not making me feel good. I got shunned a lot in high school. And then when I went to my 10-year reunion, they're like, yeah, we made the right choice. We made the right choice.
We definitely shunned the right guy. I made a lot of bad decisions in my life, but shunning Grant.
They come to the reunion thinking, oh, gosh, I hate my husband. My life's terrible. When they see me, they're like, you know what? Life's pretty good.
Oh, wait, real quick. I don't think this is an Onion article. This is the New York Post, and it's verified. Sam Darnold, this was 5 hours ago. Sam Darnold gets wasted and hooks up with girl after Jets' big win.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Passing around the mono.
I need more, man. I need to read
He's
this
going to
article.
get mono again.
No, he's passing. You can still transfer mono for a long period
That's
of
a
time.
story? That's journalism?
I don't know. I'm in on this story though.
I mean,
pumped.
you could literally.
You gave it a click? You gave that a click.
Yeah, and they're talking about is he the next Joe Namath or Mark Sanchez? Which, man.
Those are the only athletes in the history of the world that have ever had relations as a partner.
I mean, yeah, literally any non-married quarterback and some married quarterbacks, you could pretty much say that.
Russell Wilson?
I'm in on this article. Is the girl there?
He's married, right?
Well, I'm saying beforehand. Well, wasn't there a period where wasn't he abstaining?
Yeah.
I thought that was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a situation with him and Golden Tate, and I don't know, something went down.
Oh,
well, no, he's talking about not hooking up with Rihanna, or not Rihanna, Sierra.
Yeah.
Guys, let's get to our draft. Guys, this is the nonsense portion.
That's starting right now, the nonsense.
But let's get our draft out of the way so we can go to more nonsense.
Well, Mangone's got to start it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Grant, just explain it before. I'm sure we have new listeners on week 13.
Snake draft format. Mangone goes first. Pick someone, establishes that position. I go second, establish that position, and then Dean goes.
Snake draft format. This at all.
I am not fudging this bad boy up, man. Not fudging this up. Give me Christian freaking McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm not messing this up.
I really like how you're using my word.
Listen,
I have fudging trademarked. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh, he's good at football too.
That's what I've heard.
And you set the position, so we know we're not doing.
Oh man, I'm in a corner, man. Nobody puts me in a corner.
You say that literally all the time, and you have two great options here.
Ooh, Grant, can you help me out? Is Drew Brees in this league?
I'm not going to tell you to play BDN.
Oh, here we go.
That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, coincidentally, he's looking it in.
Coincidentally. Oh
Here
man.
We go. Lovely.
Well, I'm debating between him and Andrew Dalton, the Red Rocket or the Red Rifle, whichever nickname you prefer. I'm not sure if you heard that or not, but I had to cough, so I hit the cough button. So it was an awkward pause, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Dean, you're taking forever as always.
All right, well, give me a second.
Dean, you literally you should be prepared by now.
Really?
Yes, you do this every single week.
There's a I have to pick two. I got to go back to back. So I'm holding myself up.
You have 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to go with BDN. Let's go with Foles. Let's save some salary. Man, we should probably lock in some fantasy points, though. Oh, I don't like this at all. Oh, how about, let's just lock up Jacksonville. We'll take Fournette as well.
All right. I'm going to go.
I feel like a bad idea, but.
What?
I don't know. I don't like that. I didn't like that play, Dean.
Dude, they had one of the highest totals in the slate. They're facing Tampa Bay. And Fournette's going to catch like 8 passes.
I guess there's the catch-up side.
He's not going to run.
What is his price? I don't. For some reason,
it's a little pricey.
It's 7.5. I'm going slightly above that. I'm going Derrick Henry.
I was looking at the Thanksgiving slate for a second. That's how excited I am for it. I was like, where is Leonard
Driscoll?
So I'm up here. Okay, we'll go with Andy Dalton, man.
Gosh, this just got so easy.
Oh, Mangone.
Mangone locking in his third straight loss, even with CMC, which is impressive.
Nah, man, Andy Dalton's a solid one, man.
He can't lose, man. He's got CMC. It's over.
He can when Dalton goes to -4 points. Pulls off a Baker.
He gets the pull.
No. And we're good, man. I'm not worried. Andy Dalton season.
Grant, I need you to tank right now.
I already picked.
Oh, really? Who are your two players?
I got Henry and Mahomes.
Oh, I'm going to lose this week. Oh, that's a bummer.
He just picked Dalton. You got BDN. You're fine.
I feel good about mine, man.
He's got Roadhouse, man.
My guy's cheap, man.
All
right. Now what are we doing? Oh, we're doing the tweets or consequences, which is not like fully developed. we don't really have it.
We've got the essence of it. Well, we've got the pieces, but you ready for it, Mangone?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I want to get off this pod. I don't want to hear this, so let's go. Let's get this thing.
All right, so it's something along the lines of this Thanksgiving, I am thankful. And then we're going to make a list. We have 20 ideas.
Gosh, no. This is
just a list of things you're thankful for.
Yeah, and I mean, the things we got, we'll narrow it down. Extends, Sherbert, Fuller House, Confession Booths, Incognito Mode, Cloth Diapers, Harry Styles, Laxatives, Lube, Pornhub Premium, Lena
I
Dunham.
knew that was going to
Booger
be on there. No, I knew that was going to be on there.
Well, we haven't finalized it yet. Booger McFarlane, Kesha, Pumpkin Spice Lattes, White Claws, Being the Little Spoon, Women Taller Than Me, that's for sure in there. Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girls, Feminine Facial Products, Cuddling, Pedicures, Lip Balm, Fruit-Flavored Chapstick, Twilight, and Pinterest. Pinterest is going to be on there. But
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I can get behind some of those things you mentioned at the end. They weren't all chop facts in there. I'll let you guess which ones weren't wearing. I'll let you for your imagination. But some of those things.
Myself and Grant had a
fruit-flavored chapsticks, Twilight, and cuddling.
I'm going to say Mangone's a cuddler. I think he's pro cuddling.
Yeah, I mean, who's not pro cuddling, man? Cuddling is a good time.
Well, Grant doesn't like
some people. Oh, I love cuddling. I'm a big cuddle bug.
Yeah, man, cuddling's fun. What was the second one you mentioned?
Sherbert.
No, there was another one. Not the chapstick. The third one.
Lip balm.
No, it wasn't that one. There's another one you said.
Pedicures. Twilight.
Oh, Twilight. I've seen Twilight. I've seen it.
Did you like it?
It was okay.
It's funny how many things on this list I love, and I just mentioned because I didn't think you would want to mention them.
Yeah. I've seen Gossip Girl. I like myself some Blake Lively. Blake Lively's a babe, dude. Absolute dime.
She's in Twilight?
No, Gossip Girl, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I watched it. And I think she was in One Tree Hill. No, she wasn't in One Tree Hill.
Nah, she's not One Tree Hill. That's another good show there, too, Grant.
Yeah, no, I watched the first 4 seasons. Not proud of it.
I watched all of them. I'd do it again.
And he's proud of it, apparently.
Yeah.
I've seen 0 episodes of Gossip Girl, and I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
Well, that's why there's Netflix.
Yeah, but people are definitely tuned out right now. Doesn't that lead into our question?
Hey, guys, we got a question this week. And if you haven't answered this question before, you got a shot at a T-shirt. In the comment section of the RG page, you have to leave this comment. Just tell us how your day was.
How's your day? How was it?
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. And
we honestly just want to know how many people actually stayed at this part of the podcast.
Yeah, and seriously, listen, if you're someone that you're I don't feel like going to comments, please go out of your way and do this. We want to know how many people actually listen. Do this for us. If you are listening all the way until now, you are one of our loyal listeners. You are one of our X amount of people that are ride or dies with Dean, Grant, and Mangone.
There are probably some analytics
better to do on a Tuesday.
Show this that we're not privy to, we don't have access to.
I'm like Jason Garrett, man. Screw the analytics. Let's get our answers our way.
This feels like it's going to be 8 people, and then we're going to just be depressed.
I mean, I feel like 8. We have to extrapolate. 10 people listen to the end.
There's that one guy that one week did fast forward to the end. I don't know if he's doing that this week.
Sharp move.
Man, really I want that T-shirt.
Yeah. So now, how do we determine who wins? The best.
We just
the best day, the worst day.
It seems most genuine, maybe.
No, best or worst day, whichever one we just think that was our favorite one. It's just simple.
What if they just say it's fine?
Yeah, that's fine. I like that. It's a genuine answer.
Puncher's chance? That's got a shot?
Yeah,
it's a genuine answer.
If only one person makes it to the end, then you can be the winner.
By default. That's the podcast, though, boys. That's it. It's lucky number 13. Everybody enjoy your Thanksgiving. By the way, get yourself a honey baked ham. If you want a real Thanksgiving dinner, get a honey baked. Have some options at the table.
Turkey's better than ham, but you can have both.
Come on. Seriously, turkey sliced in the deli, sure, but the bone, the whole thing.
Well, I mean, I like gravy on top of it.
Yeah, you in the giblets, you like giblets?
I mean, I'm not Big T, but I'll eat them.
Yeah, fair enough. And of course, your dessert of choice is going to be sherbet because we had a half-hour conversation pre-show about how much you love sherbet.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Mangone, give me your final Thanksgiving take or a hot take for the week, whichever you prefer.
Hot take of the week. Let's see. Devontae Adams, he goes for 40 fantasy points. How's that sound?
It's pretty ambitious, but I like it. Grant, see it and raise it.
Nick O'Leary goes for 20 and put gravy on everything. 20 DK points.
All right. Thank you, Yahoo, for sponsoring the show. Again, if you guys are still listening to this, leave a comment in the RG chat. You might win yourself not the chat, in the comment section, of course, where this podcast is posted. You might win yourself a sweet RG t-shirt. I'm actually wearing one right now. They're very comfortable. I swear. I'm not just saying that. Also, fade the cranberry sauce. Enough of the cranberry sauce. That's the show, though. Hope you guys enjoy your holiday week and some football as well. We're not really ending strong. I don't have a closer, but he's Grant. He's Mangone. I'm Dean. We're out of here. Holler.
See you, kids.
Holler.
Holler.
Holler.